while we have come so far, we still have
A ways to come.
a ways to go. Yeah. And it's heartening, but in some ways disheartening. That we're still struggling. There are still gaps, and even in our mindsets, sometimes we'll think of men first as opposed to women. I mean, there's that little riddle. Little boy gets hurt. His father brings him to the emergency room. The surgeon walks in and says, "I cannot operate on this boy. He's my son."
Yeah, and how is that possible?
And how's that possible? Yeah. I mean, people nowadays, I think, get it.
Yeah.
But when I first heard that little riddle, people were stumped. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
But so, we've come, we've made some advances. And I think that in some ways, we, the boomers, carry the fight forward from our mothers who were more traditionally stay at home. Now, not mine, and that's why she's my role model.
Yeah.
And that's good, and I hope that we're imparting to our daughter so much. Why I wanted to bring my daughter here today. She really is sick. So I hope we're instilling in our daughters, that sense of, we just came from Alicia's talk, and that she matters.
Yeah, and that balance is necessary to everything.
And it does feel as though, sometimes I believe sometimes we're our own worst enemy, because it's so hard for us to delegate, right? We take it all on our shoulders. Sometimes it's easier to go to work and do your job as it is to come home and carry all that responsibility. Even the most helpful, in-tune husband, which which my husband was. I mean, he did laundry and, but a lot of it was a matter of, here's your to-do, here's your honey-do list. So we're still making those lists. It's not intuitive yet what needs to be done. But that's good. That's progress for husbands as well, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sure there are dads back when who
just
show me the meal on the table.
Yeah. Oh, my mother-in-law used to say about my late father-in-law, she used to say to the kids, if anything ever happened to me, Daddy would have to remarry by dinner the next night. And she'd say, and I don't want you kids to give him any trouble about it, that's just the way it's going to be. He cannot put dinner on the table for himself. So I think we've made progress from there.
For sure.
Tell me about your role model.
Right, so I'll go back a little bit. My grandfather, my mother's father, died of spinal meningitis at age 29 in 1932 during the Depression.
Before antibiotics.
Just before the sulfa drugs were put on the market. He left my grandmother with 3 small girls, 3, 5, and 7. My mother was the oldest, 7. So now my grandmother had to go to work to support these children, and through the years, she became the matriarch of the family. And she instilled that into her daughters. So the 3 of them they were matriarchs of their own families, and then my grandmother was the matriarch of the big family.
Extended family.
Yep, and there was nothing that we talked about that was taboo, or we don't talk about that. Even as kids, there were open conversations about things that were perhaps considered, too taboo to discuss. the three sisters all had careers.
That is groundbreaking.
Yeah,
For that time.
and just what I said in the speech, I literally have no memory that doesn't include my mother telling me I was going to go to college. Now that's not to disparage, we put a lot of
Right.
focus on the trades today, which is appropriate.
Yeah.
But I think that generation of parent did push their kids to go to college. And so there was no discussion I was going to college. Of course, when I started saying I wanted to become a doctor, my mother was very wise, and she didn't discourage or encourage.
Okay.
So because, you were 12 years old saying this,
Yeah.
and I didn't want you to be influenced by my own feelings.
Yeah.
I mean, and years later she said, I was thrilled.
Yes,
You wanted to
yes,
become a
yeah,
doctor?
yeah. But she didn't want to put pressure
Yeah.
on you.
And she was always supportive of whatever I wanted to do to advance my education. And so she was a terrific role model.